Am I good enough? I feel good enough. Under your spell again, I can't say no to you. Crave my heart and it's bleeding in your hand. I can't say no to you. Shouldn't let you torture me so sweetly. Now I can't let go of this dream. I can't breathe 'cause I feel good enough. I feel good enough for you. Drink of sweet decadence. I can't say no to you. And I've completely lost myself, and I don't mind. I can't say no to you. Shouldn't let you conquer me completely. Now I can't let go of this dream. Can't believe that I feel good enough. I feel good enough. It's been a long time coming, but I feel good. And I'm still waiting for the rain to fall, pouring life down on me. 'Cause I can't hold on to anything this good enough. Am I good enough for you to love me So take care of what you asked of me, 'cause I can't say no.
Okay, now there's this thing called good and gooder. That was gooder. How many times, let us do that again. I have to ask the question. I know I'm probably the only one, but have you had times when you ask the question, am I good enough? Is it just me, or have you ever asked that question? Am I good enough? What is good enough. Well, when I think about it, what came up for me, and just that whole thing around enough, we have a surplus of everything we need. And what rose up through my spirit was enough amazing grace. That's where we're going this evening. Enough amazing grace. Many of us have forgotten that we were born with enough amazing grace. And grace for us this evening is actually an acronym. It stands for our gifts, our rights, our aptitude, our creativity, and our energy. I am merely here to help you remember, recollect, and realign with the truth that was encoded in you before you got here. I believe that when you beat out all of those other spermatozoids and you chose, in alignment and in agreement with God, to be the one, you were encoded with the truth that you were enough. We're just here to remind you. That's all I am. I'm just a reminding agent. I'm not going to tell you anything that I know at a cellular level that you don't know. Because what I know is, there's one infinite spirit. And every time man says, I am, he or she proclaims it. I'm going to say that again. There's one infinite spirit. And every time you and I say, I am, we proclaim that spirit. Ernest Holmes says, when we pray, prayer removes distrust and doubt and enters the field of mental certainty. It becomes faith, and the universe is built on faith. If you don't have faith, you really have nothing. There's nothing left. The good book, scripture in the book of Luke, chapter 12, it says, from everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. Meaning, let's talk about your gifts. What are they? A lot of us don't recognize our gifts. I was speaking with someone earlier this week about gifts, and she had this faraway look. And as a young person, she questioned, I don't have any gifts. I don't have anything that makes me special. I told her the fact that you're here makes you special. That's gift number one. And she says, well, where do I go to find these gifts? I said, you can only find it by going within, because nobody out here has your gift. You have your gift. The answer and the key is to uncover it. And the only thing I could tell her, and she kept thinking, well, I don't sing. And I said, look, your gift is always that which you do best with the least amount of effort. Let me say that again. That which you do best with the least amount of effort, that is your most natural gift. Now, here's the caveat. We all have the capacity and the ownership of gifts. But like Michael Jordan, like your greatest and favorite writer, you have to expand and use that gift. Because, see, everybody starts out as every professional started out as an amateur. If you're a dancer, you start out as an amateur, and you become a professional because you use the gift. You may have a range of motion that is fabulous, but there's this honing of the skill. Michael Jordan had some natural talent, but he had a coach that uplifted that talent. You may know how to sing, but I have watched JJ sing many times, but I look at how she hones her gift. She always starts by warming up her vocal cords. I have a friend that's a professional pianist, and he always practices scales before he sits down to play a composition. Here's the deal. You can be as good as you want, have as much talent as you want, but you have to hone those gifts. You have to first recognize it is a gift, and sometimes your gift is so second nature to you, you don't know it's a gift. You really don't. Oh, I know that's God calling. That's God. I know that's God calling. Tell him I'm here. Let the universe know that we are right here waiting on them, wondering what took them so long to get here. I can say from my own experience with gifts is I didn't know what my gift was for many years. I thought what I did anyone could do. I had no fear of standing in front of people. It could be 10 people or 100 or 700. I could stand there by myself and command an audience. I didn't know that was a gift. I thought anybody could get up and talk. Until I went to Toastmasters and I realized that there were people that would get up to speak and their knuckles would be white, and I would say, wow, they're really afraid. And these were accomplished professional people, and that they said, this is holding me back in my career. And I said, really? I didn't know that it was a gift. I'd been told to shut up all my life. Shut up, shut up. I didn't know that speaking in front of people is a gift, is a talent. I didn't know that my ability to take something complex and break it down into the simplest form and create an analogy or to tie it to something that people already know. I didn't know that was a gift because I had always done it. You know, it's like people that start out and they sing all their lives or they dance all their lives. They don't know that that's so unique to them until they realize very few people have that talent. Or the child that walks over and decides they want to play the piano, and they start to play. Recognize your gift, get in relationship with your gift, and here's the thing that's most important. Stop saying, I can't. I don't know how. We have, as humans, have to stop arguing for our limitations because we do it all the time. Oh, I couldn't possibly do that. I don't know how to do that. Oh, I could never do that. Oh, yes, you can. I remember seeing a young lady that was very chunky, for lack of better words, and she was an exceptional dancer. And the music began, and she stood out because she was pretty hefty. And all the other dancers started moving, and something hit this girl, and she broke out in some moves, and everybody stopped. And she was a professional African dancer. But what she didn't say was she was limited by her size, or she was limited by her age. How many of us say, oh, I would go to school and do this if I were younger? Well, guess what? Start where you are. There is no right or wrong age to do anything. What it is just starting where you are. Here is what's important about our gifts. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, it is a habit. We are what we repeatedly do. It is not an act. Oh, you don't just get up and be excellent one day. It is a habit. You listen at speakers like Les Brown or Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I happen to know Robert personally, and I remember years ago he talked about his first speaking engagement was he had to introduce someone at a conference, and he rehearsed for 3 weeks to stand up and give a 90-second introduction because he was so uncomfortable in front of people. And years later, he was awarded this grand award as being one of the top 10 speakers in the country. Les Brown is one Toastmaster Speaker of the Year. And when he was young, he stuttered. And he talked about getting over that tendency to stutter, but it was practice. And now he teaches people all over the world to be brilliant speakers, how to tell their story and engage people in the story. So it's about not just doing it, it's about practicing it and honing the skill. A great pianist is only great when they practice because it's a muscle that needs to be reminded daily. How many of us say, well, you know, when the time is right, I will do this. Do not wait to strike when the iron is hot. Strike and the iron will get hot. See, we waiting around, ooh, I'm gonna strike when the iron is hot. No. Strike and the iron will get hot. If you hit something long enough, oh, it's gonna heat up. We can't wait. There is no perfect time. I see us do this around so many things in our life. One day, I'm going to. No, do it now. Make a commitment that you're going to own your gifts, acknowledge your gift, practice your gift, even if you have to practice it in front of no one. If you have to practice it in front of the mirror. Practice your gift. It doesn't make you good or bad depending on the size of the audience, because if you talk to anyone that has ever spoken in front of people, they'll tell you they started out with their mother as an audience. My mother would listen to me. I'm sure when JJ started out, and I've seen her sing in other venues, she may sing in front of hundreds, but I'm sure she didn't start out that way. She probably started out somewhere in somebody's children's choir. And they said, come here, little JJ. And she sung to the best of her ability because she was an amateur. Now she's a professional. What are your rights? Do you know that we have birthrights? And these are the things that are yours by divine right. The divine plan is one of freedom. We feel we have chains on us, but we don't realize we are the key. We feel that there's something holding us back. There is nothing holding us back. Ernest Holmes says it very well. He goes on to say that every success brings with it the seed of its equivalent. Every success brings with it the seed of its equivalent success, meaning that to be successful and even to fail, it brings with it the seed of success. If you see anyone that has ever done anything, they've usually failed or had what I call learning opportunities. Edison said this around electricity. He had a lot of learning opportunities before he made electricity, lots of them. The Wright brothers had lots of opportunities to fall before they finally created the first airplane. It's the same thing for any of us. Children fall a lot before they learn to walk with confidence. The thing is, the older we get, sometimes we're afraid that if we fall, someone's going to laugh. And that's just merely the ego talking to us. Well, if I do that and I'm not successful, guess what? If you don't do it, you really won't be successful. So when we don't argue for our limitations, and we realize the inherent nature of man is ever seeking to express itself in terms of freedom, because freedom is the birthright of every living soul. And let me explain freedom. No one can control your thoughts except you. No one can control your attitude except you. I love Nelson Mandela because they imprisoned him for 27 years, but they could not control his attitude. He wasn't bitter. I've seen people that have been in prison falsely, and they come out. And they say, well, are you angry? Are you bitter? And they say, no. If I control my attitude through my thinking, I am always at choice. And it is said that when you can control a group of people's thinking, you imprison them. Just like with the little elephant, that's a baby elephant, and they chain him to a stake, and he pulls a few times, and pretty soon they can put a thread on him. The elephant is full grown. They can put a thread on him, and the elephant will cease to pull away because they're no longer chaining the elephant or controlling it with the chain, because they now control the elephant's mind. That's why the words that we use, the language that we use is so critical. This is the invitation. Choose who you talk to, who you share your stuff with. Because if they are vibrating and speaking negative words, guess what? Pretty soon, you're going to start speaking like them. If you don't believe it, do this. If you mix some clean water with some dirty water, the clean water is going to get dirty, but the dirty water won't get clean. It's the same thing with energy and consciousness. If you mix your positive stuff in with some negative stuff, you're not going to convert that. So you need to choose who you share your thoughts with and have conversations with people that uplift you, uplift themselves. Remember, praise and raise. Have conversations that are positive. If you're talking to people that have bought into the news that there are no jobs, there are no resources, and the whole world is full of mean, gun-toting, hateful folks, guess what? That gets in your consciousness. You go away, and that good positive energy you start out with Monday morning, it starts to diminish. So when people start talking negative talk, your job is to walk away. Because seldom are you going to convince them or talk them out of it, because they're committed to it. They're arguing for their limitation. Oh, there are no jobs. Guess what? If you don't believe there are, there isn't one for you. There's going to be one for little Judy-Ann, because little Judy-Ann going to get hers. See, I know that there's plenty in this universe, and that which has my name on it, you and your negative conversation can't get between me and my good. Bottom line, I'm not buying into anything else. By birthright, you have the inalienable right. You know what inalienable means? It means you can't be alienated from it. You can't be disenfranchised. You can't be distanced from something. It is yours by birthright. It's yours. No one can take it from you unless you give it to them. So we don't give away our birthrights. You know that here is the thing. God created the world and created us in its image. And it says in Scripture, greater things than this shall you do. But every time we say, well, I can't, we are arguing. So there are no more I can'ts, I shoulda, wouldas, and couldas. Leave those guys alone. The chains, they don't mean a thing. Even if you grew up in an ugly environment and they put chains on your consciousness, you always have the key. How many folks, don't raise your hand, but some of us grew up in environments that did not affirm the good of who we are. How many of us have been in relationships that didn't affirm the good of who we are? They may not have affirmed it, they may not have supported you, but one thing they can't do is they can't take the key away. You always have the key. Just like Houdini, say what he had to say, Houdini always knew how to get out of the chains. He called it magic. I call it God's grace. Get out of the chains. And here's the thing. Once you realize this about chains and that you can break free, you cease being a prisoner ever again. Because when stuff comes up and you start feeling chained down, you say, that's not the truth. Bible says, do not rely on your own understanding because you know it's flawed. My understanding, I know, is based on past experiences. I don't know what I don't know. I can't tell you the times that something has emerged in my life and I had no idea it would come from where it was coming from. Give you a good case. We're doing the September 14th World Day of Service. We were talking about T-shirts for the team. And there came a memo that said T-shirts are going to be $13.95. We started beating the bush. Oh, and everyone went into a panic. I said, no, that's not the truth. Guess how much the T-shirts are going to cost us? Nothing. Someone appeared that owns a company and says, if you let me advertise that I'm sponsoring this event with you, I'll advertise on the back. We're going to put Center for Spiritual Living, World Day of Service with big heart on the front. But everybody else was hollering, T-shirt going to cost $13.95. No, it's not. Well, how? Don't worry about how. You get committed to making it happen. The how is God's business. I'm going to say that again. When you get committed to making your life happen, the how is God's business. I always say to people, well, I need a job. No, is it a job you need or you need some money? If I need to pay the rent, I don't care if the money fall off of the back of a U-Haul truck and it has my name on it. I don't care. That's God's business. Yours is to set the intention. I was thinking about the word impossible. If you write down impossible and you break it apart, it says, I'm possible. That's what I'm going to live in. The I'm possible. Impossible is just I'm possible ran together. But when you break it down, you say, I'm possible. The I am that is me is always possible to do great things. You don't have to know how. This R is for creativity. Each one of us is creating every day. All you have to do is look at your life. The challenge is, are you creating what you want? Are you planting seeds that you want to grow? That's the thing with creativity. We're creating every day. As I tell young people, you want to know what you want out of life? Look at what you have. You created that. If you want to know what you want out of life, look at what you have. Because every day, cause and effect is a law. You look at what you're creating in your mind, that seed is going to reap that harvest, whatever it is. Now, if what you see in your life is not what you want, go back and plant a new seed. Go back and plant seeds that are firm, that are positive. Remember your birthright. Remember that God said, it is always done unto you as you believe. The mystical and the mystery of all of Jesus' work boils down to belief. He did this with the woman that bled for 12 years, and she ran up, and she touched the hem of his garment, and she was healed in an instant, because what she said was, I believe if I touch his garment, I will be made whole. Someone else was saying, well, I didn't get healed. Well, what did you believe? And that person wasn't healed. But when she touched the hem of Jesus' garment, she was healed. When you believe something, you can receive something. When you see it in your mind's eye, you can materialize it out here. The guy that created electricity had been around forever. It just could not come into fruition until someone could believe it and see it and therefore achieve it. There is nothing mysterious about that. Electricity was a reality in the universe when Moses led the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. This is true of all natural laws. They have always existed, but only when understood may they be used. Think about that. The cell phone. Ooh, they created the cell phone. That which makes a cell phone work has always been around. But it is only understood may it be used. That's life. When you understand something, but our tendency is not to create. We want to understand what somebody else has created. Ooh. Our job as individuals is to push, not to fit in, but to push the limits of understanding that we see. If this is possible, what would happen if I stretch beyond society's limitation? What would happen? Athletes do it all the time. They break records, not because they look at Babe Ruth's record and say, well, that's as many, 4,000, that's all the hits you can get. No, they push beyond that. I used this even before I understood this thing called metaphysics. I remember working in the oil industry, and my aptitude, I didn't have the mechanical background that the fellas had, working on cars and whatever. But what I did was I listened to them, and I listened to the way they talked, and I told myself, if they can do it, I know it's doable. And if it's doable, I can do it. Now, what it meant for me was I had to learn the basics. I had to learn the mechanics of fluids. I had to learn the laws that govern gas. I had to learn a lot of things that others have been doing forever. But what I told myself was, if other people are doing it, I know it's doable. And I can do that. And that was my aptitude. Now, here's the thing about aptitude. All of us have aptitude. There is something that all of us can do. You take an autistic child. Some of them are brilliant musicians. They have an aptitude for music. Find out where your aptitude is and stretch that. Whatever your aptitude is, and you have enough of it. The most successful people in life are not always the smartest people. How many of us have known brilliant folks that may be homeless, may not be able to take care of themselves? Brilliance does not equal your aptitude. Your aptitude is that natural talent that you have that you use. So we all have enough aptitude. We all have enough creativity. I remember hearing about, you're not creative. And I made a commitment to be creative. I made a commitment to always do something different. And we get to do this. Challenge yourself. Don't do what you did yesterday. Do something new. Do something new, even if it means changing your hair. If it means driving a different way to work. When we get into habits and routines, it's because it's easy. You don't have to think about it. If I know to go this way and make a left at the corner, I don't have to think about it. What happens if you allow yourself to get lost? Have you ever just intentionally went down a street that you didn't know where it led? And you said, oh, I didn't know this was down here. But some people don't want to be lost because they think they have this illusion of control. What do you really control? Absolutely your thoughts. If you're mindful, you get to control your thoughts. We don't make the sun shine. We don't make it rain. And it's our ego that 80% of the time, the ego is running our lives. I'm going to say that again. The ego is running our lives 80% of the time. Every time you say, they made me feel, that's the ego. The ego says, well, how dare, oh, they can't talk to me like that. That's the ego. I had a situation recently where I spoke to someone, and he wasn't rude in the sense that he said something. He was just dismissive. Now, there was a time my ego would have said one thing, and this time I said, I will hold him in prayerful consciousness, in loving consciousness, because his attitude is not about Judy-Ann. I'm not going to walk around being a thermostat, letting you come and adjust my temperature. Every time you say something, I go either up or I go down. No, you can't adjust my temperature. I'm going to be the thermometer. I get to measure the temperature. But you know, you see people, oh yeah, they made me mad. Oh, people are running you up and down like a thermostat. Stop doing it. You have a birthright to know who you are. Just remember that. And your energy. Harness your energy. Use your energy to affirm and support you. Einstein said, everything is energy. When you match the frequency of that which you say you want, you cannot help but achieve it. It's all energy. The strongest vibration, energetic vibration known is love. The strongest vibration is love. You have enough of it. You have enough of all of this. All of your gifts. I am going to close with this piece that says, let me, I'm trying to be electronic, but I am here to tell you that this electronic stuff, I'm going to leave you with this. I think. Let me look. I love this quote by Ernest Holmes. He says, the road to freedom lies not through mysteries or occult performances, but through the intelligent use of natural forces and laws. Meaning, the road to freedom is right there. It's nothing mysterious. It is the natural laws. And grace is a natural law. Your gifts, those are a natural law. Your rights, those are natural laws. Your aptitude, it's natural. You don't have to ask anybody for your aptitude. It came in you. Your creativity, it's a natural law. Your energy, we're all energy. That's all we are. That's when they say that death has occurred, is when the energy quits circulating as we know it. So you have everything you have, and you are enough. Repeat after me. I am enough. Oh, I want you to say it like you mean it. I am enough. Turn to somebody and tell them, I am enough. Say it one more time. I am enough. When you take that in and just let it be resonate, because you know that you have all the gifts you ever need. All you have to do is hone them and practice them. Remember, practice doesn't always make perfect. It'll make permanent. So make sure you're practicing that which you want to see duplicated and reinforced in your love. Because every time you say the I am, you're tapping into that God consciousness that lies at the seat of the soul. Every time you say I am, and it's painful to the Spirit of God if you say I am and you don't follow it with something positive. Anytime you use I am, follow it with something positive, with the grace, that amazing grace that God gave you. I'm Miss Bertha's baby girl, and I now invite JJ up to sing us into the silence, and I invite our practitioners to stand and to hold this sacred space. And for you, I invite you to go into that I am place where you may still have a doubt about your goodness, your grace, your gifts, your energy. And it's okay, because we're going to allow JJ to sing us into this prayerful place. And I just want you to hold the I am amazing grace. JJ.
Let me walk to the banks, to the river of love, where the currents run deep, baptized in the one, where there's no separation. The light is all we see, honoring all the differences. The truth sets us free. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. I say, oh, you rock my soul. I say, oh, you rock my soul, yes.
I turn to my God, that one which cast the stars in the sky and gave the birds a song to sing, that one that infused and embodied me with amazing grace, that same Christ consciousness that created me from a slipstream of its DNA, that the I am that is each one of us, and I will speak it for each of us, the I am that is me, has all the gifts, the birthrights, the aptitude, the creativity, and the energy to be all I came here to be. For I am the grace of God made manifest. I am the truth of God made flesh. I am the love of God expressing in every way, every day. I am all that I came here to be, never duplicated or replicated. I am a unique facet, a divine expression of the one living God. And it's from this truth that I can declare, decree, and know it to be absolutely true, that I am enough. I do not rely on any circumstances, situations, or conditions to talk me out of the truth, that I am enough. I am good enough. I am smart enough. I am divinely attached and infused with the grace of God. That I know that God can only do for me what it can do through me. So I surrender my ego, I surrender my attachment to outcome, and I allow God to use me for its highest good. I am the place where God shows up. I know that no one came here to be who I am. I know that I am necessary in this life, that this incarnation comes bearing gifts and opportunities. And I know just because the way may be tough, I know that I am blessed with all that I need. And any test just gives me a testimony. That every mountain just strengthens my ability to rise up. So I speak affirmative words. I dwell and think positive thoughts. I create an energetic vibration that supports what I am here to do. I do not base my future on the past. For what I know is that God opens up the floodgates of heaven and rains down upon me gifts that I have not eyes enough to see or ears enough to hear. All I have to do is get my bloated nothingness out of God's way so that God can do what God does. And I am truly grateful to know that I am a unique expression of God pouring forth into this life. I am so grateful to know that I can go to my God at any time and align myself with the truth of God's vision for my life. And when I am aligned with God, I remember that I am free because I and I alone hold the key to my success, to my joy, to my happiness, to my intelligence, to all the good that is pouring forth through and in and as me, that I hold the key, for the Father withholdeth nothing from me. Knowing this, I can joyfully let it go and know that it is so because I am releasing my word into the alchemy of love and law, which transmutes, transforms, and transcends all of the ordinary and breathes into it extraordinary grace. I let it go. I know it is so. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Aren't we lovely? Aren't we beautiful? Angels from heaven, stars in the universe. And so it's true that love will be a reflection